found out that a dinosaur discovered hamburgers.
Now, Doug the Dinosaur, are you sure that this book is based on true events?
Well, the dinosaur who discovered hamburgers, we read about him in culinary school.
Culinary school?
It's where you study to be a chef.
Yes, but
That's why we read this book about this great food explorer.
Dill, you went to culinary school?
Just for 4 years.
4 years?
In France.
In France?
She keeps repeating what you're saying. Yup. Now, I am hungry to know more.
Me too, Doug. Me too.
Hey, dear KidTime family. That's us. Thank you for your entertaining and educational read-aloud videos. We hope you'll enjoy reading this book as much as we did writing it. We wish you all the best. And that's squibbly right there. That's Arden, and he's the person behind Adisan Books. Why, thank you, Arden, and we wish you all the best as well. The dinosaur who discovered hamburgers. I didn't know. Did you know? I don't think I read that in my dinosaur chapter books. Scout loved being a dinosaur. Of course, being a dinosaur had its perks. Dinosaurs were able to run faster, pew, 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 roar louder, roar, and were stronger than all the other animals. Wow.
I think you're just being a show-off now, Joe.
But the best part of being a dinosaur was that they were all big foodies. They loved going out to restaurants and enjoyed eating different foods. I had no idea, but here's the proof. Having an ice cream and a shake at a diner, fine dining with mocktails, and fresh ramen at a sushi bar. There were lots of dishes to choose from. Sushi, chicken nuggets, pizza, and more. But Scout always felt like there was a great dish that was still missing. So Scout decided to go seek it out. And so began the journey. Although I prefer to stay home myself. Scout packed binoculars, a magnifying glass, a plate, a knife, a spoon, a fork, and a map. You should pack 2, Storyteller. Okay, I will take a magnifying glass. Good choice. I'll grab this hat for the sun. You know I sunburn. Let me take, an extra pair of eyes. Oh yes, those always come in handy. This fan, that should be helpful. And, and a piece of cheese. Okay, now we are ready. Let me just move my supplies over to my supply spot over here. Scout searched far and wide, venturing through treacherous terrain. And Scout climbed the highest mountains because there ain't no mountain high enough to keep me from getting to food. And crossed the hottest deserts. Oh yeah. Coming in handy already, and waded through the thickest swamps, so brave, somehow managing to avoid those crocodilators. I can never tell the difference between the crocodile and the alligator no matter how much I try, and also avoiding that thing. Scout was exhausted and ready to give up, and just as Scout was about to turn back, a strange forest appeared into view. It seemed the forest had oddly shaped fruit. Scout used the binoculars to look closer. Of course! Of course! Of course! This was a bread forest. It was filled with bread buns. And it's just as far as the eye could see. Toasted buns, sesame buns, and brioche buns. Scout grabbed some and continued on. This brioche will pair nicely with my cheese. Scout left the forest and entered a valley filled with beautiful flowers. But again, something was odd about these flowers. So Scout, whoop, took out the magnifying glass and took a closer look. And it looked like the petals of these flowers were made of pickles.
Of course! They were pickle flowers! Yup!
How exotic. Scout grabbed some and continued on. Scout kept walking and came across two strange rivers. One river was red and the other yellow. Scout got close to the rivers and took out the spoon. Scout dipped the spoon into each river and had a taste. One was sweet and one was sour.
Of course!
These were the great rivers of ketchup and mustard. Exotic. Overjoyed, Scout packed some of each in these handy-dandy squeeze bottles. Scout continued on and wandered by some large bushes that had a wonderful aroma. Scout reached into the backpack and pulled out the fork and knife and started to poke into the bushes, and out came a meat patty and a slice of bacon grilled to perfection. Of course! These were bacon and patty bushes. How exotic! Scout now had lots of ingredients and flavors to work with.
Just like all the chefs do, we gather the great flavors.
About the chefing, I'll get him later. Okay, so now he has all these flavors to work with, and he started to head home, passing back through the rivers of ketchup and mustard, walking again through the fields of pickle flowers, and trekking once more through the bread forest, wading back through the thickest swamps, recrossing the hottest deserts, and climbing back down the highest mountain. Scout finally, at home, went into the kitchen and began to plan this exotic meal. First, Scout tried many different combinations, but none of them seemed right. Then it came to Scout, of course! Bun, ketchup, pickles, then the bacon, patty, the mustard, and then the bun again. The perfect order for the perfect dish. Now, to taste our creation. Scout took a bite. It was good, but it still felt like something was missing. So Scout decided to visit Dr. Ham, the smartest dinosaur in town, to see what they could come up with together. Dr. Ham showed Scout the newest technology in food processing. Look at this lab with all its bubbling liquids and things being written on boards and levers being pulled. And this scientist looks a lot like Doug the dinosaur. Scout stood and watched Dr. Ham's team toil and tinker with their formulas to come up with just the right addition to the dish. He's trying to work it out. Question marks abound. He's got the current recipe items here. The machines hummed. The beakers boiled. The gauges whirred. And voila! After the smoke cleared, all the dinosaurs looked upon their creation with wonder. Exotic. With the new creations ready for tasting, Dr. Ham began official scientific tests. I'll call this Red Bull with seeds. This one will be named White Spicy Oval that makes you cry.
Oh, I'll take 12 of those.
This shall be called Crunchy Green Leaves.
Oh, I'll take a head of that.
Scout thought the names were a little long, and suggested they name them tomato, onion, and lettuce instead. Exotic. The other dinosaurs agreed and were amazed at Scout's genius.
What a great name idea. I couldn't have thought of a better name myself. Oh, I like that too. Where'd you come up with these crazy words?
Scout took slices of the new foods and now added them to the dish. Of course! Of course! Of course! This is what was missing. Scout tasted the creation and knew this was the perfect dish. Mmm. Scout shared this discovery with the other dinosaurs who all agreed that they loved this dish. Thankful for all of Dr. Ham's help, Scout decided to name the dish after the doctor.
What is your full name, Dr. Ham?
My full name is Dr. Hamburger the 12th. I come from a long line of burgers. It was settled. The new dish would be called the Hamburger in tribute to the great scientist. All the dinosaurs loved eating Scout's new dish. Even the Velociraptor food guide gave it 6 claws way up, which is amazing because everybody knows that the Velociraptor is a food snob. Hamburgers, the biggest thing since that asteroid. News of the dish spread quickly, and everyone had to try it. It was a hit. Not just a hit, the hit of the year. The dish was so popular that the dinosaurs even made an International Hamburger Day. Even movies were made to show how this amazing new dish was discovered. Scout felt happy and complete. The perfect dish was found, and all was right in the world. Of course, of course. Now, Dill, about your culinary education. Oh, can't talk now. I've got burgers on the grill. Oh, you want one? Of course, of course.